Welcome to TotalCAE Data Marshal. Managing simulation data has always been a challenge for many organizations. FEA and CFD simulations generate terabytes and terabytes of data, and there's hundreds and hundreds of simulation performed every day. It makes it difficult to have a real good historical record of everything that was done. What were the versions of the model? What were the include files? What version of the software was used? What were the options that were used? Was it single or double precision? Everything that you need to recreate that model weeks, months, or even years later is very difficult to do. And so what TotalCAE Data Marshal is about making it so all of that data about the job run, all of the input decks, the versions of the software, all the options, everything that you need to do to recreate that simulation are automatically done when the user hits submit without any extra work from the engineer. So they don't have to work any differently than they do today. They don't have to, at the end of a job, remember, hey, this one I want to record some information about. I'm going to put it in a spreadsheet and then put it into some filer or all random places on the network, and then not have any idea or make it difficult to find months and years later. With Data Marshal, there is no extra work to do. It's automatically all captured, and then you can go back through a simple to use Google-like search to find any of that simulation data, weeks, months, years later, and be able to get back to it and see everything that was done. So, for example, if you haven't used the TotalCAE portal before, when you log in, it has, you give it your input deck, your versions of the software, select some idea, some cores. I have a comment here, what project was for. When I push this submit button and it submits my workload to the cluster or cloud for it to be solved, all of this information is automatically captured into the Data Marshal, including my input deck here, any includes it might use, and all this information. So let's pretend then months or years later, I want to find it. I can go log into the Data Marshal portal, and I can simply search for that data. Maybe I could find I remember something about it had the word benchmark in the description. If you can know what the file might contain, what it was tagged with, maybe a directory, drive, who owned it, something about the file name, a lot of different criteria, you can build up more complex queries, and then you'll be able to search. It comes back very quickly with a list of candidate files that match that description that I put in. I had done a bunch of these benchmarks. So I'm like, yep, this is the one that I wanted. I want to go here, and here's the input deck, and I just want to download it. So it really is that simple. In this case, I'm logged in as a read-only user, so I am not able to go and delete, and I also don't have permissions to see certain files and directories that I don't have permission to. Now, if I log in with a super user password or a person that has full administrative rights or maybe full access, then I'm able to see special drives such as this ITAR drive, which was not available to me as a read-only user. I also have other options if I'm given the permission to do so, where I can create and upload, download directories. So if I had maybe this simulation here that ran this Dyna job, I wanted to upload the D3 plot or some images, I could simply upload them and say this is the final plot, as a description or a tag, and then say, program 222, whatever the case may be. You could then add those files and browse to add them and upload them into this directory. I can delete directories, make directories. Very easy. Still, I can simply search just like before. I can search across different drives. So I could select this ITAR drive, to search in a specific location. So very flexible. But the key point is that I didn't have to take any extra step as the engineer to get the data automatically categorized, tagged, and archived. It's all done automatically for me and put into this easy to use system where I can go back and search on it months, days, or years later. This system stores all of this engineering simulation data on commodity storage. So you could easily store hundreds and hundreds of terabytes on low cost storage, or it can also store it on the cloud. So for example, you could store it in an AWS bucket and have up to a petabyte of storage automatically on the cloud. So we are both cloud native, and you can store it on an on-prem filer if you're on premise. It's very designed to be very simple and flexible, easy to use. No extra work for the engineer. So reach out to TotalCAE if you're looking for a simple to use way to archive all of your simulation data without any extra work and be able to find it months or years later. You can contact us at info@totalcae.com.